I don't get this listing at all. I don't understand. A discounted rate. I am shitting myself thinking of what he wanted for the games before the alleged discount. So I didn't realize I haven't made one of these Where's the Deals episodes in quite a while, but here we are. For newer viewers, this is the ongoing series where I go on the Facebook Marketplace, usually, in search for good, bad, and downright awful video game listings. No theme this time around, just plain old searching for whatever's out there. Retro and modern, doesn't matter this time around. So first up, $40 for this decent amount of Xbox 360 games. Some of which are bootleg rips, so that's kind of a red flag for me. Now, granted, if the other games are legit, in good shape with the manuals, then this is actually not that half bad of a listing. There's quite a few great games in here, like Mafia 2, that complete edition of GTA, Borderlands, and of course Red Dead. If that GTA is complete and in great shape, it's worth over $20. Mafia 2 is another one that's not exactly dirt cheap. It's valued at around $13, and with those two games alone, you have $33. The rest of the games more than make up the remaining value. Now, for shits, I would probably ask the seller to drop the price just for the bootlegs alone. They're not worth anything, and why make a bootleg for a common cheap title in the first place is bizarre in itself. I don't really know about this one. It's 12 PS4 games for $100. Less than $8.50 a piece, that he states in the listing. And while yeah, that's technically true, it's not quite a great selling point when you consider a vast majority of the games can be bought at a disc replay or GameStop for under $5 a pop. Now, yes, he does have one game in particular that is interesting, and that is The Last Guardian, because it's roughly a $15 game, but that doesn't exactly matter when a game like Battlefront and the sports titles are worth only a few bucks a piece. I'm sorry, it's just not a good listing. It's not even one I would negotiate with personally, because I wouldn't pay even $50 for this lot. For $100, you could do so much better at a used game store. Another 360 listing, $5 a piece, or an offer for everything. You know, there's a lot of good titles in this listing, but not all of them are exactly a good buy at $5. Battlefield 3, Titanfall, Wipeout, and even Gears of War are games that could be easily found for less. On the other hand, there's a couple here that you'd be kind of nuts not to grab. Left 4 Dead 2, a cult classic, is valued at around $13. Ace Combat 6, a game that I really like, again is $13. Deadpool, slightly higher in value at about $15. Yeah, you could get some pretty good stuff in this listing, but I probably wouldn't make any sort of offer for everything. Although, if you were to grab a small stack of games in this listing, you might be able to knock a few dollars off if you just ask. It doesn't really hurt. Video games, $5 a game. Double games, hour, $10. Double games. Don't really understand what that means. Double games as in the Crash and Sonic multi-pack? Hell if I know. Regardless, $5 for Xbox One games is usually pretty good. The best thing in this entire listing, I believe, is that TMNT Mutants in Manhattan. $5 for a game that is worth $40. That's a pretty big deal right there. It's kind of difficult to make out the rest of the games in this listing for obvious reasons, but despite that, it does appear that there's a good amount of games in this listing that would be a good deal for $5. Not sure why we're on this weird trend of listings where the games are $5 a pop, but you know, I'm alright with that. This one, again, has plenty of good titles. A lot of Call of Duty games, if you care about that. There's also The Last of Us Remaster, Far Cry 5, Hitman, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Mortal Kombat 11, and Bendy, to name a few. And that's a damn good selection here. There's not a whole lot of games that you'd be overpaying on. I think the only ones I would avoid are Division, Destiny 2, and maybe even those Uncharted games. I have seen in rare occasions those games I just mentioned being priced around $3 in some stores. This is definitely one of those listings where I would grab most, if not all, and see if the seller would take less for everything. Again, I've said this before, but as long as you ask in a respectful manner and you're not lowballing or being a dickhead in any way, more often than not, you'll get a discount. Even if it's like $5, 10 or 15, it's not a bad idea. Here is a lot of 10 PS4 games, some of which are still brand new and sealed for $80. It's kinda interesting, but also hard to tell which games are new. Outside of that Observer game, I think maybe Daymare and Predator are sealed, but I could be completely wrong about that. Hellblade, House of Ashes, Divinity 2, and 13 Sentinels are worth anywhere from $15 to $28. Daymare, I thought, honestly, was going to be worth more because I've never even heard of it. It's a $10 game. Rock of Ages 3 is really not worth anything, maybe $5. It's for sure an interesting listing for $80. It's something that I would think about for sure, especially considering I don't own any of the games in this listing. 13 Sentinels I was the most curious about. I thought maybe it was going to be like a turn-based JRPG, but it's not. It's kind of more of a story-based game, like a visual novel, with some actual gameplay aspects to it, I guess. So, visual novels are by far my least favorite types of games, so it completely killed any interest in that game for me, unfortunately. Let's take a quick break here and shout out my friend Yama and his clothing brand. You've seen me promote it on the channel before. Being an artist myself, I heavily support other artists who share a deep passion for what they do. All of Yama's designs were created by himself, which are heavily inspired by anime, gaming, and other forms of what he calls nerd culture. He's got a bunch of new designs on the way, and if you want 10% off your entire order, be sure to check out the link in the description below. Better quality, better graphics, better ingredients, Papa John's. Yama Clothing. Yeah, that one. YamaClothing.com. Check it out. Here is a Super Nintendo listing with some controllers and a small amount of games for $120. I'll be straight up with you on this one. I don't like it at all. Both of the controllers are damaged at the wiring, and he only has an RF adapter, which sucks. The games, only one is worth anything, and that's obviously Super Mario World, but it's not like a high dollar game. $20, maybe $25 in this condition, which is good, but the console itself is maybe $50. It would be worth $75 had those controllers not been damaged, and he had AV plugs and not an RF adapter. The sports games generally aren't worth much of anything, despite me being a massive fan of the old school hockey games. So really, it's a bad listing all around for $120. It really wouldn't even be a great one at $80. This one's wild. Atari 2800 games starting at $10 and up. Okay, I don't know much about Atari. I will 100% admit to that, but I cannot believe at all that any Atari game, at least the ones that this guy has, most of which have obvious signs of damage on the labels, can ever be worth more than $10 loose. Hell, one of the game stores by me used to sell these Atari carts for 4 games for $5 because no one ever bought them. Maybe if some of the titles were complete in the box, in better shape, then yeah, okay, $10 might be alright. But I know that most of the games here are common titles, and even with my limited knowledge, it's just not worth $10. I don't know what this guy is smoking, but I'm sure it's some strong shit. He also has a Game Boy in there. God knows how much he wants for that. Avoid this. Check out garage sales for Atari stuff. I guarantee you'll find a whole shit ton of them in a box for maybe $50. Besides the incredibly annoying upside down photos, this listing isn't that bad. The seller wants $50 for what I think is a DSi, 11 games, and a fairly large travel bag. I'm not mad about this at all. DSi's are typically not sought after as much as, say, the DS Lite. I think because the Lite can play Game Boy Advance games, where the DSi cannot. But what's really nice is that the seller actually has the charger cord, which boosts the value of the console dramatically. Without the charger, I see them go for as little as $25, maybe $30 if you're lucky, but with the charger, you're looking at $50, if not a little bit more. The games included, well, most of them you'd be better off throwing them at someone during a fit of road rage, though Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart are very good grabs. 64 is worth around $25-30, and Mario Kart is just shy of $12. It's a great deal, all things considered. A massive 45 Xbox game lot. So, he wants to sell everything, or trade I guess, for the price of $215. What's kind of funny is that he goes on to say, and I quote, "Sale is for a single lot of all items at a significantly discounted rate." $215. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. Half the games are sports titles, while almost the rest are commonly found crap you can pick up for under $4 all day long. There are some games here that I've never heard of before, like Mad Dash or Motor Trend's Lotus Challenge, but that doesn't exactly mean they're worth anything. In fact, they're not. Mad Dash is like a $3 game, and that Lotus Challenge I think is maybe $7 or $8. I don't get this listing at all. I don't understand. A discounted rate. I am shitting myself thinking of what he wanted for the games before the alleged discount. A custom painted Nintendo 64 for $65. But why? I can totally appreciate heavily modded systems. I've seen plenty of cool stuff like this Zelda one or even this Invisible GameCube. Those I can get behind 100%. I can understand them. But painting the shell of the thing, especially the way the guy did it, I don't know, it just looks cheap to me. Like, this looks exactly like something you get off of Wish.com that comes preloaded with a bunch of shit that are, it's not even Nintendo games. This is a quick, simple one. Super Mario World and my favorite Donkey Kong game for $30 total. The carts are a little dirty and maybe show signs of damage to the label, which yes, of course, does affect the value. Despite that, it's not that bad of a deal. You'd be saving some money with this one, but not exactly a dramatic amount. Super Mario World in this condition is probably at maybe $18, and $20 for Diddy Kong's Quest. And that's on the low end because, again, of the condition. Both of these tend to sell for a few dollars more in much better shape. Thankfully, though, they can be cleaned, so it's not like a massive deal or anything. So that's going to do it for today's video, everyone. Overall, there wasn't exactly anything glaringly offensively bad outside of maybe that Atari listing, while at the same time, there wasn't a whole lot of overwhelmingly great deals either. Kind of a mixed bag this time around, I guess you can say. But before I go, I do want to state something. Lately, I've been dealing with a lot of deep-seated depression for many reasons. I don't really want to delve into it all that much, but I do want to give you guys a good heads up that if I don't upload for a few weeks or maybe even a month, do not worry, please. It's all good. I just maybe need a break from everything and everyone. Between battling my diseases, dealing with work-life balance, and various other personal issues, I've just been in a hell of a funk lately. I'll be fine. It is what it is. But please don't take this as me being overly negative or anything. It's just that I don't want this funk or this depression to spill out into my videos, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to create something while I'm dealing with a lot of mental shit because it's going to 100% affect the quality of the video. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, I do want to thank you all again, and thank you to the new subscribers and to the ones that have stuck with me for years and years. I've seen recently that someone has been subbed to me for like 7 or 8 years, and that is just, wow. I don't really know what to say to that. But yeah, thank you all so much. Take care, and I hope you enjoyed the video.